Hi, this is Black Krishna or BK for manfowars.com, where I'm promoting polite patriotism to help nice ladies and gents look, walk, talk, and feel great and teach kids to, and to help us locally discuss and share great online info offline as better people making better people and places to live. So, a lot of online discussion going on right now, a lot of typing and talking to strangers, but there's also a lot of censorship into digital ghettos. And it's important for us to transcend that with the offline info war, which is pissed off patriots. Just reach out to confused civilians. You've got meetings, you locally set up meetings with each other, maybe once a week, build relationships, and then you got meet and greet tables. You're not crazy, not too crazy to make a friend, you're just chilling. You've got some posters and flyers and DVDs to share with people that want to discuss with you. Plus, you share that type of information there, and so the media can't spin how you feel when you calmly and consistently and politely share it. And everybody likes being nice. So polite patriots, you're polite, you're nice. Who's going to crap on you for that, or trying to help more people be nice? And then from there, the information you have and the knowledge you have isn't so scary or crazy, and people can have more of an open mind to it. So see manforwars.com for more on that. And this video is related in a way because it's going to speak on some of the things that we miss, and if we miss them, we should try and keep them before they're gone. Otherwise, we'll keep missing them, or the next generation will never get to enjoy them. And this video is called Gentlemen, How to Help an Old Lady Cross the Street. Gentlemen, welcome to Fight Club. Well, it's all related, but gentlemen, how to help an old lady cross the street, right? And this is specifically relating to an incident with me. I've done this lots of times throughout my life as a gentleman, as a gender responsible man, and so on. Sometimes I cutely call it deer crossing. Yes, dear. You know, like deer in terms of the animal, but deer, D-E-A-R, deer crossing, right? Yes, dear. There you go. And you help her cross, right? And I'll get into to some of the details when it comes to this. So let me get into some of the philosophy behind this before I get into the specific details of what happened recently when I happened to interact with a sweet little old lady and helped her cross the street. Okay? So, first of all, you have to be gender responsible. Now, you might look at me and go, gender responsible? What's that, weirdo? You got some weirdo? No, this is what's been around for 100,000 years. It's only in the last, 10 or so, 10, 20, especially the last 5 or whatever, that we're supposed to be more gender equal or gender neutral or whatever, right? But, and you can say this to any of them, right? You can say this to any of them. Men want to feel useful and women want to feel special. I repeat, men want to feel useful and women want to feel special. And when you say it, light bulb goes off in men's heads. Oh yeah, you're right. And the girls, they if you give them something, they sometimes they feel they owe you something, so they won't be as expressive with it. But they generally get more shy and manageable, and they may hate being called manageable, but they hate being called unmanageable even more. So it is what it is. They just become better company, and they want to be good company. Ultimately, girls want to be good company. That is, you're doing this, that, and that. Oh, girl here, she's good company. She didn't screw up. You feel better. Baseline standard, right? That's the baseline standard, what girls want to be. Oh, she's such good company, right? Oh, it's nice to have her there, right? Then they feel safe and special and yada, yada. So that's important. And the opposite is gender equal or gender neutral, which means we're all the same, which means we can't appreciate our complementary differences. We can't appreciate masculine strength when it comes to guys respecting each other and making a safe space for feminine vulnerability, allowing them to be more graceful and so on. And when we both feel the same, we both feel like crap because gender equal and gender neutral, making us all the same, basically makes us all a bunch of messed up girls who miss men. Right? That's basically it. Because when they say gender equal or gender neutral, they don't mean a perfect fusion of male and female. They mean skewing more towards the female side because men suck, right? So if we're going to be equal and neutral, it doesn't mean like, well, okay, honey, you'd be more like a man. It's like, yeah, there is some of that out there. Women don't be stereotypically girly. Men, don't be stereotypically manly unless he's trans, in which case, of course, you got to dig out all those old stereotypes and do them to the best of your ability if you switch genders. Um, and for kids, it's all crazy. But the point is that if we're all gender equal or gender neutral, then we're all messed up girls, basically because we're catty with each other and we miss men, and we're a bunch of miserable bitches, right? Um, I had a friend, and lots of examples, but for example, a friend's girlfriend, she told me about how she worked at a big bank and she worked in some money processing place with a whole bunch of other women. And she freely, without even it being a political discussion, just a discussion of people and relationships and how we interact. Not like we're not authorities on this, but like we were, and so on, as people who grew up and did a decent job. She talked about how working in a room full of 30 women was just hell because some of the girls would be catty, and the other girls who weren't as catty or bitchy weren't exactly into scrapping with the catty or bitchy ones and taking more catty and bitchiness. So it can be an awful environment, right? Where a bunch of bitches around and no men around, and then they're just bitching at each other, right? And that's kind of the brainwashing that's happening to all of us right now. So gender responsibility, as opposed to gender equal or gender neutral, is what's always worked, and that's why it's under attack. So keep that in mind, and don't just look to me. You can look at the history of what's going on, right? Men want to look, women want to get looked at, but not look, you notice, right? And then they relax and they let you notice more and you notice more and so on, right? And if they don't relax, you don't notice more, and then they decide to relax and get your attention more, right? So it's different. So that's number one. Number two is you can't be nervous, you can't be forward, you can't be rude, you can't be sketchy, and you can't be obvious, right? There's a lot of acting going on out there today where people are playing characters, and especially with guys, told to act more like girls. What do girls want? Girls want attention. But with regular straight men, there's nothing to look at and no one to look at them. I can't get attention like girls can, right? Girls, if I'm chilling on a beach and some cute girls want to walk slow, look cool, try and feel hot, they can relax, and I can relax and see if I can get them walking even slower and looking even cuter and feeling even hotter, and they can judge their ability to relax with me and my ability to relax with them and let them do that, and then they can have fun and they can really care about their don't care. It's not like a stripper coming up to you and squishing her boobies in your face and saying, put $1 in here. No, it's just them being a more attractive version of whatever they're doing, right? Girl walks by a construction site, men whistle, but a lot of times the girls started. Guys busy hammering away at something, busy or friendly to be respected men. Girl polite and gracefully distracting. Men polite and busy or friendly. Girls polite and busy or friendly, but also gracefully distracting, right? They say construction workers whistle at girls. I'm pretty sure the bored girl started it. The guy was just hammering at something and hoping not to hammer his thumb, right? So you can't be nervous or forward or rude or sketchy or obvious or thirsty, or all this stuff doesn't work, right? You got to kind of be casual and you got to be cool. These days, with men, like I said, nothing to look at, no one to look. If I tried to do the opposite, I wouldn't be able to relax more while they relaxed more and appreciated me. I'd have to force them to put up with me if I wanted some attention like a girl. And that's a problem that happens. And then guys do it, and then girls kind of copy it because they can't relax with you, so they just act the same. And then people make each other uncomfortable and too uncomfortable to respect each other and communicate well. And that's a problem, you have. You see a talk show host like Jimmy Fallon, with some girl. And he's a sort of a silly, kind of girly, modernish kind of guy in a lot of ways. And he'll be like, yeah. No, I understand. He'll start playing with his hair with some girl there, and she'll be like a little bit more like, what are you doing? She'll be a little bit seized up, relatively speaking, while he does that to communicate with her, because that's some of the brainwashing going on out there, right? Whereas a girl can relax and do that if she's not forcing you to put up with her as well. It can be a more graceful process. But if guys do it, girls don't have a chance to relax with guys, and so girls do it, and you get a crappy version of a guy, and with a crappy version of a guy, the only thing she can be is a crappy version of a girl. So you never get the best out of each other to manifest this useful, special, attractive casually empowering to the point where you can respect each other and communicate well situation, right? Um, so the third thing is you can't want anything from anyone. Just respect for not bothering anyone. That's all, right? That's the most respect you can show someone is to not bother them, right? Don't bother them. Don't force them to put up with you. Don't bitch when it comes to verbally bitching. Don't bitch when it comes to acting like you're a bitchy mess, right? And don't be forward, forceful, or whatever. The most important thing is you can't want anything from anyone. You just have to be near people and either politely mind your business or politely acknowledge and casually interact with each other, right? So that's the most important thing. You're not in this to get anything, and because you're not, you get everything in terms of respect from others, or keeping your self-respect and not losing yours, and taking others' respect, right? Um, the fourth thing is basically the rules when it comes to general rules of engagement with everybody, and specific rules of engagement when it comes to masculine strength, men, and when it comes to feminine vulnerability, women or girls, right? So with pretty much everybody, especially in a big city, but also anybody anywhere really, acknowledgement and then avoidance, right? The acknowledgement is to indicate I'm not going to bother you, right? And then the avoidance, you don't, right? So guys, hey, happy to be near each other, cool, on the street, cool, get on the subway, cool, go to a restaurant, coffee shop, bar, cool, cool, we know we're going to be cool, that's a nice guy. Said hi, didn't bother me. That's a nice guy, right? Nice guy. Nice girl too, right? Definitely a nice guy, right? Um, and with girls, there's acknowledgement and then avoidance. And I've talked to girls, hot girls, model girls about these theories, right? And smoking hot girl, she sighed when she heard me say, she's like, avoidance. People don't understand how important it is to the avoidance part. It's just so important, right? She's always concerned about attention, getting attention, whatever. If you take a hot girl and you politely acknowledge her and avoid her, the next time you see her, if she's, going to interact with you or share or still be there, you'll get a twice as hot girl, or a twice as friendly girl, or a twice as cute girl, or a twice as sweet girl. Something appropriate for their age, their looks, the relationship you have with each other, the situation you're in, right? I've had this happen. I've talked to just gorgeous girls, or had gorgeous girls be extra gorgeous with me, because this is what's on my mind when it comes to how I carry myself, or literally what I say, right? So acknowledgement, avoidance, done. Then possibly when it comes to girls, reassurance, done. And then possibly flattery, done. Acknowledgement, avoidance, boom. She's still there, still nearby, still relaxing, right? So for example, politely approach a girl, oh my goodness, you're so hot you're going to scare yourself. Or you poor little thing, you're going to scare yourself. Or you might be scared of me, you don't know who I am. Politely acknowledge you, harmless smile, nod, avoidance, done. Nothing to do with you, want nothing from you, whatever. Girl relaxes more. If she's still there and still sort of casually, curious about attention, reassurance. No, you didn't do anything wrong. I'm not doing anything wrong. Just keeping busy, keeping it moving. And then flattery, right? And then me, as a 5'10", 165-pound guy, average height, average weight, average build, but still a lot bigger than most girls, and more upper body strength, and more testosterone, and more, I could kill you, girl, or kill someone for you. Hey, let's be nice, right? Kind of guy. I've had, a tiny little 5 foot tall, 90-pound, damn near half naked girl, politely acknowledge, boom, avoid. Then she's still there, whatever, smile. No, don't worry, nothing. It's okay. Didn't do anything wrong. I don't want to do anything wrong. And then flattery. And she goes, oh yeah, I'll show you how much hotness I pack into this. Pow. Blow my mind, right? Because then she can really share, knowing that you're acknowledging her, avoiding her, you don't want to bother her, reassured, no, nothing's wrong, you don't want any problems, you don't want her to cause problems, and then flattery, right? And it could be a 3-year-old to a 103-year-old. There's something appropriate, right? 3-year-old, cute little girl, 13-year-old, pretty little girl, 23-year-old, potentially sexy girl. It's just an option. They could also just be business-like or friendly. It's nothing guaranteed. You don't want anything. You don't bother anybody. I ain't robbing no nervous little girl, and I ain't scared of one either, right? So that's just the way it is, right? Or 53-year-old girl, classy old lady, or 83-year-old woman, sweet old lady, right? There's something there where you know that you're cool and you're sharing the best version of being a cool guy yourself. And then she's, cool and she's feminine and she's sharing an appropriate, best version or good version of herself. And that's how people casually empower each other. So acknowledgement, avoidance, reassurance, and flattery, right? And when it comes to this, if anyone's rude, it's over. If anyone's rude, it's over. If anyone's rude. If they're rude, if the girl's rude, hey, put up with me, it's over. If the guy's rude, I'll put up with me, or I'm, staring at you, not noticing, but staring. Oh my goodness, it's over, right? I was at a deli with my buddy. We were going to get some meat to barbecue at his place, and there was a cute girl. She looked like young, maybe early 20s or late teens, early 20s, and she was wearing a t-shirt and tiny, tiny little shorts. And she was a tall, skinny, cute girl, right? My buddy said to me, "Man, get a look at that girl, that cute girl in her shorts," right? And I could tell, right? It made that cute girl in her shorts, and she was physically attractive, right? She had tiny little shorts on, right? But she's more frigid and more rigid. She wasn't more relaxed and graceful and confident and attractive, right? And I said to my buddy, "Hey, man, you're right, but I'd rather just, politely avoid them and then let them get more attractive to get our attention dressed like that," right? And my buddy looked at me and went, "Huh." I said, "I don't want to make them uncomfortable by saying anything or looking too much. I'd rather just notice and then avoid them. And then if they are dressed like that and they want attention, they'll relax more and they'll be twice as hot as they would be in terms of just a physical product, right?" And you might be like, "Well, same thing." No, it's not the same thing, right? I've been to strip clubs, with buddies, strip clubs, totally naked, professionally hot girls, or almost naked, and then sometimes totally naked, right? But almost naked or totally naked, professionally hot girls, right? And I'll give you an example. Me, my buddy, strip club, go there for lunch or whatever. I'm not saying I'm a regular or whatever, but I'm not saying I'm against them either. There's professionally hot girls there. That's their job, to put you in a good mood and help you, kick ass, right? On a professional level or generally, whatever, right? But professionally hot girls, right? And so I'm at the strip club with my buddy, and dancer comes on the stage, and she's naked, and she's obviously physically attractive, but she's not into it. She's just going through the motions up there. It's not very crowded, at the strip club. There's not that much action. There's not many customers out there to try and turn on to dance with later, right, when she's on the main stage. And so my buddy and I looked at each other. We're just like, meh, okay, she's not into it. I'm not into it. Perfectly hot girl, 8.5 to 9.5 on the hotness scale, right? And if she was into it and she wanted us to be into it, then she would be spectacular, right? But she wasn't, and we weren't. And even though she was naked, wandering around on stage to an Aerosmith song or something, me and my buddy just ignored her, right? She didn't seem to want attention. We didn't want to be uncomfortable giving her attention, whatever. I mean, it's just, we saw her, okay, fine, but not really into it, right? And so we were chatting, and we even joked about how the waitress, was turning us on a lot more. It's like, with this naked girl there, our waitress is so hot and so friendly. And the waitress was dressed up. She had like a dress shirt on, a short black skirt, some black tights, wasn't showing barely an ounce of skin, except for her hands and her neck and her face. And she was hotter than the naked 8.5 to 9.5 on a scale of 10 hotness girl dancing on stage in front of us, right? So that's important, right? Otherwise you don't. You might just think, technically speaking, right? And you can even see on Instagram, right? Even on Instagram, right? Some girls are into it and they make a better impression, right? And it's part of it is in the eyes, it's in the smile, it's in the vibe. One girl could be technically hotter on Instagram, but you find the other girl hotter because she's more relaxed and confident and happy to be taking this picture, and she's got some look in her eyes which is inviting. I like you looking at me, as opposed to I'm just taking this picture, right? So all of these factors go into it. You can't flatten it out to just say, hot girl, stare, all the same. No, right? So these are the ways you can get that popping, right? And I'm not just talking strippers and hot girls. I'm talking about generally men with other men respecting each other, and men with women and girls respecting each other, right? Because it's not all about that. And again, you don't want anything. You're not trying to rob nobody. You're not trying to bother nobody. You're not trying to be bothered yourself and lose your self-respect and take others. None of that crap, right? But just these ideas and these rules, and I've tested this with millions of people. I've got a ton of it on video. A lot of people know I'm right, but people are screwed up, and they have trouble doing anything about this when so many people are screwed up and can't do anything else, and are bullying everyone else into doing the same thing and being screwed up too. So that's the issue here, especially men, because only men can, right? You take out straight men, everybody goes to crap, because straight men is where the source of everyone's respect comes from. Straight men is where the source of other guys' respect come from. God, we can be cool? Cool. Then we know. I wasn't sure, but you're older, or you're cooler, or you're whatever, and we can be cool, right? I've been the cooler guy with guys, and I've made them cooler. Other guys have been the cooler guy with me, and they've made me cooler, right? So with men, there it is. With women, with children, boys and girls, same thing, right? Other girls can't do it as much with each other, but with the men, they know they can be good at being a girl, right? And even with gays and trans and lesbians and so on, right? It's still the guys making sure they're cool, other people are cool, where they are and where they live is cool, or it's men falling apart and doing the exact opposite with their superior size and strength and power when it comes to just being there. This guy could be a problem, or this guy could be a solution, right? You walk into a bar, not too many people in the bar. As soon as you walk in, everybody sees you. It's a man. Could be a problem or a solution, right? That's it, right? Now, girls, kids, others, to varying degrees, right? But I could walk into some place, I could wreck the whole vibe, right? Or I could chill the whole vibe. Or I could just have a little self-respect, mind my business, and not be a problem for anybody. And when I'm not a problem, people respect me, and they think, well, if you're not a problem, if a problem comes up, maybe you can help solve a problem, right? So that's crucially important when it comes to this paradigm. I'll get into the specific example of the little old lady, which happened very, very recently in Toronto, Canada, right? Now, it's January 2020 in Toronto, Canada, which means it sucks. I mean, still a nice city, still nice people, largely falling apart because of attacks on gender, social constipation, trouble talking due to political correctness, gender neutralization, trouble acting like nice men and women. So still a lot of nice stuff around, and there's nice people trapped inside the way they're forced to act, but they're increasingly not enjoying each other and the place as much as they normally would, right? But the reason I say it sucks is because it's cold and it's snowy and it's icy, and it sucks when it comes to a weather perspective from November to March, right? November, December, January, February suck. And then after that, sucks less, and then gets really, really nice, right? That's, northeastern American cities, other cities that have, a clear 4 seasons. That's what happens, right? So recently, I'm out in the cold. I'm going for a walk. It's cold. It's like minus 12, minus 15. It's like minus 8, but minus 12 or minus 15 with wind chill. There's snow. There's ice on the ground, right? And I'm walking, my headphones on, right? Got shades, got a newspaper, manforwars.com sign, trying to keep my self-respect, not lose mine, take anybody else's, ignore people acting rude, puts you in a good mood, make sure you're not a mess for other people, let them know if they want to stop it, or mind my own business, whatever. And as it gets worse and worse, you used to be able to just avoid people acting rude and sketchy by looking away, and they'd get embarrassed and stop. but as it becomes what they do more and more, and it becomes harder to do anything else, it becomes harder to avoid. So definitely want to nip that in the bud wherever you are worldwide. But nonetheless, I'm just goofy brown guy, right? Average height, average weight, average build, so big, strong, badass dude. And I'm walking, got my big black winter coat, got my Tuklo shades, just walking, headphones, and I see this little old lady wearing a red coat, right? Little old lady wearing a red coat, right? And she's tiny, and she's a little hunchy, not the normal young person, tall stand, but the slightly hunched older person stand, right? And I get a relaxed vibe when I noticed her. And I didn't want to look. I just wanted to notice who else is there so I don't bother them. They don't bother me. I feel safe. It's cool. Know what's going on, just like you do everywhere, right? So as I'm approaching the same intersection, I notice this sweet little old lady with a red coat on. And I notice, and she obviously knows somebody's nearby or whatever. And because I get a relaxed vibe, but I also get a slightly nervous to cross the street vibe, right? That's because I noticed, don't look. I wasn't trying to bother her. I kept my space. I kept my distance. So she didn't mind that I noticed and just like, okay, so cool, I'm here. Oh, somebody else is near me, crossing the street, notice, cool. And because I noticed and I wasn't acting weird or anything, making anybody uncomfortable, I could get an accurate read on her vibe and body language, right? So you have to get an accurate read. If you can't get an accurate read, and I know these days it's very, very hard to for most people with the way men are making other men and then women and children act, right? It's hard to get a read on anybody and respect each other and understand each other from a body language perspective. And then when the body language goes, the verbal language is less trustworthy. Plus, do you really feel like, talking to and listening to and looking at people that aren't, comfortable near each other, right? You see, so it becomes harder and harder to communicate formally well when it's harder and harder to communicate informally well, as polite ladies and gents teaching kids to be, right? But I got the vibe. I read her vibe. I read her body language, and I thought, okay, since this girl, all girls, right? Men want girls want to be somebody's girls. So there are girls, right? There all are girls, right? Basically anywhere. They're rude. Don't lose your self-respect. Take anybody else's. Be a mess for the next girl, next guy, yourself, whoever. Forget it. No problem. They're nice. It's one of our girls. Okay, what do you want? Something, nothing, great. Done. Keep it moving, right? So men want girls want to be somebody's girls. There are girls, right? And in this parochial way, we feel useful, they feel special, everybody feels happier, and nobody bothers or asks anybody for anything or wants anything from anybody. It's just the natural course of affairs, right? So I read her vibe and her body language, and I thought, okay, usually I just acknowledgement, avoidance, done. Mind my business, keep it moving, no big deal. But when you have the opportunity to interact like a strong, useful man with a safe, special woman, and it's any man and any woman, then why not? You both feel better, you're both happier, you both feel more respected, and you keep it moving. So why not, right? As long as nobody's forcing anyone to put up with them and do anything. That's key, because then it's over. Forget it. It's garbage, right? So anyway, this lady's to my left, and I'm just to the right. And first, I'm a little bit, backing away from her. Give everybody their personal space. Don't focus on crowding anybody or staring at anybody or bothering anybody. And so so this is what happened. The light changed from red to green, and it was a not super busy, but fairly busy street in Toronto, right? And again, it's cold, it's snowy, it's icy, it's really cold, and it's a little snowy, and it's pretty damn icy, right? And so, there's cars, traffic going this way. We got a green light, but, it's whatever, right? And I can move like a man, right? I'm not a girl, who's got hips, walk around in making cute little circles everywhere I go. I'm a man. I can jump over a car if I want to. So what's the big deal, right? So I kept my space a little bit behind and to her right and whatever. And then as I felt out the situation, I walked a little bit ahead of her, right? A little bit ahead of her, not behind her, not threatening, not beside her, not threatening, right? Not close to her, not threatening, not obvious in any way, like I'm trying to interact with her, like this random stranger old lady, like I'm trying to bother her or whatever, not taking her hand, not asking her, right? Just being near her, right? And I walked a little bit ahead of her to the right of her, right? But I walked slower than my normal long-legged, big, strong man gait, my walking gait, right? And so I walked a little bit slower, right? And I tried to match her pace a bit, right? And other people can notice this if they're whatever, but it's not obvious. You're not obviously trying to do anything. You don't want anything from anybody. You just happen to be near each other, and this happens to be the right thing and a nice thing to do that'll make you both feel better too, right? So I'm walking just a little bit ahead of this little old lady who's just a little bit to my left and a little bit behind me, but I'm not walking so fast normally that I would fly by her while she's, puttering across the street. I'm keeping her, about, whatever, 6, 7 feet behind me and to my left. I'm keeping an eye on the traffic and the cars, ready to eye anybody up, stare anybody down, give anybody a dirty look, right? Just as normal with men and hanging out with girls, or women, girls, same, right? It's all the same, right? All that stuff is none of her business. With men around, with a man around that she's with, that crap is none of her business, right? I've worked doing executive conferences with a brilliant and beautiful female boss, right? And she's like, hey, let's go out to lunch. I want to talk to you about, how things are going so far and whatever. And I was like, okay, great, right? And we in the office, she's my boss, right? Brilliant, beautiful woman. It was a privilege to have her time. But when we walked to the sushi restaurant, I was the man. That door's mine. That's mine. Those people are my job. That car's mine. The crossing the street's mine. All this crap is mine, right? You focus on, feeling relaxed and noticing things and chatting with me. The rest of this crap is none of your business, right? Then we get to the sushi restaurant and she says to me, okay, so here's the good things you're doing. Here's the not good things you're doing. Here's what's going on. She's my boss again, right? But again, in the general public sphere, right? None of this crap is her business. When I'm not there, when there's no man around, sure, she's got to deal with all that stuff. But when there is, none of her business, right? So anyway, so back to the old lady. So I'm walking, I'm staying ahead of her, but I'm matching her pace. I'm deliberately going slow, right? So if a car was to come, the car would have to hit me and then her, or rush me and then her. And if a guy wants to rush me, I'll stare him down, right? And if he really pisses me off, I'll stand in front of him, I'll pick my nose, I'll flick it at him, and I'll make him wait twice as long to make a left turn or whatever, if he's going to do that to me, right? I'm not some girl who's going to start running scared because some guy's bullying me, right? No, right? So I matched her pace, right? And then as she got, like 5 feet from the sidewalk, right? I was, again, 5, 7 feet ahead of her to the right. I turned around, gave her a harmless smile, generic harmless, harmless guy, just happened to be nearby. Quick turnaround, smile, gone. That's it. Like, just a quick little smile as a polite acknowledgement. And the old lady, is cold, windy, snowy, crabby. She seemed to give me a bit of a look while she was still struggling. She was still a few feet away from the sidewalk, but she was practically there. And that was it, right? And so, after that, felt better, got on with my day. And I hope she did too, right? But all of that organically happened. And that's how you help an old lady cross the street. And that's why you help an old lady cross the street. And if everything I've said in this video so far, or the majority of it is there, this can happen with anybody, anywhere around the world, or almost everybody, almost everywhere around the world. And that's one of the things I'm trying to manifest at manforwars.com. So check out the website for more on that. But otherwise, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share, get in touch with questions, answers, to work together, interview requests, whatever, or financial support, all very much needed. And feel free to use this video or clips from this video in your own work or in other videos, or repost or whatever. Let me know if you'd like. I find that stuff cool, and we can build a connection if you'd like. And otherwise, Black Krishna or BK from manforwars.com. I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.